Greetings, adventurers, and welcome back to Abnormal Voyages. My name is David, and today we find ourselves in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Of course, this was the site of a major battle for the Civil War, and today we're going to learn a little bit more about it. But history can get a little dry at times, so we've found somewhere that has a very unique take on it. We are at Civil War Tales. This is located inside the Diorama Museum, and I think you're really going to enjoy this. Come tag along.
We're going to a place that you've never heard of before. It's Abnormal Voyages. You're gonna learn something new. We're gonna open new doors. It's Abnormal Voyages.
Now, you may have been to diorama museums before, but I assure you, Civil War Tales is very unique. Inside, you'll find plenty of important scenes from the Civil War, but most importantly, all of the soldiers have been replaced by cats. That's right, all cats. Wearing uniforms and sometimes even sporting facial hair, these cats are ferociously letting the fur fly. We are now inside the incredible Civil War Tales Museum, and I'm actually here with one of the co-founders, Miss Rebecca Brown. How are you today?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
Thanks
as
for
well.
having me.
Yeah, thanks for having us. This is like just walking in. This is one of the top 5 museums I've ever been in.
Thanks.
This is hilarious. It is great. It's got some great history. I love it.
Thanks.
So can you kind of tell us what was your kind of mission behind this? What made you want to do this?
Yeah, so it really just happened when it's my twin sister Ruth and I who make them. So when I say we, that's who I'm talking about.
Okay.
But when we were 11, I read biographies on Generals Lee and Grant, and then I liked the two generals, and we always fiddled with modeling clay, so I made them out of clay, and they just automatically came out as cats in uniform with beards. And looking back on it, it's because we always had cats as pets. We always catified everything. We were always pretending we were cats, and all. So I think that's how that happened. And then we got into the Civil War, and so we just kept reading, and then we're making the officers we liked, and a couple years into it, we started doing dioramas. And so then, fast forward 20 years, in high school we were working at a retirement community, and just, once a year we would take our dioramas in to
Sure, show them off and
the
everything,
residents, and then take them back home. And there was one resident who every year she was like, you should take them into schools. And so eventually in 2012 I started considering the possibility, and then we decided that a museum would be better than trucking the dioramas around. And so
Let them come to you.
Right, yeah. It's easier on the dioramas for starters, and the dioramas were getting bigger. And so that's when we started looking for commercial real estate in Gettysburg, which is the no-brainer location and my favorite battlefield. And then we moved out here in 2013 and started the museum in 2015.
Oh,
So
I am so glad you did.
yeah, it's been a lot of fun getting to share our dioramas.
Now, this one here, what battle is this?
So this is the angle during Pickett's charge. So this was our first topographical diorama, and we actually started it in 2000 and have modified it since also. So this would be the angle in the stone wall running along here that the Confederates are targeting with Pickett's charge, and then the copse of trees or clump of trees that they're using as their guiding mark is over there. So the Confederates here would have started a mile behind us, which when you're an inch tall is about 72 feet. So this would be actually most of Pickett's division at this point in time, and then to the left is Pettigrew's division. So we've got some of Pettigrew, but most of him is off the edge of the diorama.
And how many cats would you say are on the field here?
We have 3,000 on this one.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That is a lot of hairballs, huh?
Especially since these are the old non-hardening clay, so they're a little bit sticky and attract the fuzz better. So.
And how long was it for this actual diorama?
This one we figure took us about 5 years during college and afterwards. And then we keep modifying it. So it's always kind of hard to estimate how long our dioramas take because life does get in the way.
Sure.
But yeah.
So they're kind of constant works in progress as you're going?
Yeah. And then we have a whole bunch that we have started that then we flit off to a different different project. And so some of them are still waiting for their moment.
That's very
we
fair.
finished Little Round Top in February and proceeded to start 2 brand new ones instead of finishing anything we had started already.
So there's more stuff coming. It's always changing.
Yeah, don't hold your breath. I mean, it'll take a while, but...
The cat models represent soldiers of all shapes and sizes that actually lived during the Civil War. I really like this one here, where you see the two separate forces kind of facing off, and all these cats lined up in uniform. Also, this massive charge downhill with all the horses and actually going down into water is absolutely gorgeous. All the detail here really makes it come to life. But I've got to say, one of my big favorites was this stunning model of two Ironside ships going at it. This is the CSS Virginia and the USS Monitor when they met in a ferocious fight. And of course, both ships are completely crewed by adorable felines.
So I notice a lot of battlefields, but this definitely is not a battlefield in the traditional sense. What's going on over here?
So this is Fort Sumter, so it's where the war started, down in Charleston Harbor. And so with this diorama, we started it for the 150th anniversary back in 2011. And actually this diorama is a little bit backwards from how we usually plan a diorama. Usually we read along the book, trip across the story, and go, oh, that'd make a great diorama, we want to do that. But this one, we knew we wanted to do Sumter, but we didn't know what specific point in time we wanted to actually show until we started doing the research. And so then we came across the story of the morning of the second day when the officers' quarters and barracks have caught on fire, and anyone not manning a cannon is moving gunpowder out of their powder magazine, which is now in the burning officers' quarters. Fortunately, the powder magazine did not actually catch on fire.
Lucky
so
for them,
basically,
for sure.
they're rolling barrels of gunpowder across the prairie ground while Confederates are also still shooting at you. So you have shells exploding around you while you're rolling a barrel of gunpowder, which I'm sure was a lot of fun. Amazingly, nobody got killed doing it. So we picked that at point in time. The other cool thing about this diorama is the Confederates actually took photos inside and outside the fort after it surrendered. So like from every angle, and you can see all the details that you're reading about.
Oh, wow.
And so it was really cool for us to be able to match the details with the photos, like even the Magicolos galleries here, which are wooden platforms with holes in the floor so you can fire down on attackers. But probably the most interesting photo was of these guns here because it matches a story that my sister Ruth came across as she was doing the reading of two sergeants that were getting all frustrated because the lower guns are smaller and not doing as much damage, but it's safer down there. So they snuck up the steps against orders, fired the 10-inch Columbiad, it recoils, they can't move it forward because that takes 6 men. They fire it a second time from the recoiled position. This time it flips over, almost goes down the stairs, and knocks over the howitzer next to it. And in the Confederate photo, you can tell that it's a howitzer knocked over by the gun carriage of a Columbiad headed down the steps, and you can tell which corner of the fort it's on. So we pretty much geeked out. So Ruth calls this our geekiest diorama. So
I like that though. The little details are really what makes it come to life, I think.
yeah.
And these cats are really good at rolling these barrels.
Yeah, they're working at it.
All that little attention to details and history really makes these dioramas unique. Here we see a massive prisoner of war camp. This was Andersonville, and this diorama itself is called This Hell on Earth. At one point during the war, this center held over 30,000 captured soldiers at one time. And though the attention is rightfully so on all of the cats, it's a cool little fact that they make the majority of the horses you'll see in this museum as well. And I am a sucker for a great looking ship, so I really enjoyed this wooden ship model. Though it's not possibly as unique as the Ironside ships earlier, the way they crewed out this boat with all of the cats, oh, chef's kiss, absolutely beautiful. And one of the largest dioramas definitely speaks to people here in Gettysburg, as this is the Battle of Little Round Top that happened not too far from right here where the museum sits. This was part of the Battle of Gettysburg, so it's great seeing the actual location and then coming back here and getting an idea of how the troops were positioned, where the fighting went down, and seeing how it all played out. After a while, you honestly forget that this is cats and really just start taking in all the great history that this shows off. But please, don't be too concerned for the cats, because though there's a lot of fighting going on, they do take time to go to Confederate balls, like this one here, and the Union side had some parties of their own, a chance to unwind and dance with all the pretty ladies. The real cat's meow.
Okay, so unless I am very much misremembering the Civil War, these samurai cats here look a little out of place. What is the story with them?
So back in 2016, Gettysburg and Sekigahara became sister cities and sister battlefields.
Okay.
And so it's basically Japan's Gettysburg. It was fought in 1600 and one of the largest samurai battles. The armies are actually similar in size to the armies here at Gettysburg. And it basically unified Japan and shaped the course of the country for the next 2.5 centuries. Tokugawa won the battle. His family was shogun until 1868. Ishida had the larger army, but he actually lost because some of the samurai switched sides and attacked their own army. It'd be kind of like if Sickles and the 3rd Corps attacked Hancock and the 2nd Corps here in the Union Army at Gettysburg, which in our context is inconceivable. In their context, it makes a little more sense because it's a little bit more family, clan.
So kind of like those close ties related.
Yeah, so sometimes it's what's in the best interest for my family as opposed to fighting for the Union or the Confederacy. Like, in our Civil War, even if you don't like your superior officer, you're not switching sides.
Right.
And so it's a little bit different. But yeah, we've always liked Japan, and so we got all excited when we found out we had a sister battlefield over there, so now Ruth makes samurai cats.
So a good excuse to indulge that, right?
Yeah.
And have y'all thought about doing like a whole battlefield diorama of this eventually?
So people ask that, and we're like, no, because, I mean, it takes Ruth like a week to make the samurai and all. She makes it so that, I mean, she makes them the way you dress a samurai. So there's all sorts of detail that's covered by subsequent layers they can't see. So it takes a long time, but then we realized that Ii Naomasa, who started the battle, did it. He charged with his red devils, and in one of the books she tripped across a mention of 30 red devils, and we're like, 30 is doable. So I don't know if that's like, I assume he had, more troops charging behind him.
Sure, but if that was like the red devils.
Maybe the best of them or something. Either way, 30 is doable, so she's making his 30 red devils. So whether they stay on the shelf and just take over the shelf, or if we actually do a scene, we'll see.
It still gives a little flavor.
We still have a few more to go before we figure it out.
I mean, hey.
And we would like to eventually have more of the commanders involved, but also like have some of the lower level samurai and soldiers, and just like the different types of weapons.
At least like examples of who they were.
Yeah,
okay.
Just figure out what the ordinary rank and file look like too. So.
I mean, more samurai cats is never a bad thing.
Nope.
Regardless of your level of Civil War knowledge, you're going to find plenty to see at this diorama museum. You have smaller ones that are showing off the different troops and units, and then larger battles, such as the assault on Battery Wagner, which this is actually what the movie Glory was based on. So it's a nice little connection there. You can find out the story, and then come here and see it all catified for you. And at the end of the day, I think this museum that at first glance may just seem super silly is actually a unique and clever way of bringing history alive and reminding us all of the greatness that came before us and honoring those who were in this war.
Now, I wanted to point out they have this amazing book for sale that you can get online. You can look this up on Amazon, Civil War Tales. 8,000 cat soldiers tell the panoramic story. And inside, there is tons of all of these wonderful cats if you want to get some in-depth views. And of course, the best way to experience it is to come here and actually see the museum. Miss Rebecca, is there anything you'd like to tell everybody?
I think we covered it pretty well. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for letting us come in. I can't wait to come see it again soon.
All right. Thanks.
Well, that's all the time we have for today, adventurers. My name is David. If you enjoyed this, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to see all of our future adventures, and comment below where you would like to see us go next. And you know what? Just for this episode, tell us your favorite cat-related story. Add that little cat flair to it. This has been Abnormal Voyages. Thanks for tagging along. See you next time.
Thanks for